And he gave his microphone away indeed, yeah. You can grab it back for a quick second. It slides, Bill, just to say hello again. Why not?
Hello again. Thanks, Rob.
Here with the Admiral Bill Stubblefield and the Hall of Famer Matt Miller as well. Gentlemen, welcome back.
Thank you.
And in studio with us, Dirk Stansbury from the Civil Air Patrol. He's in uniform here today, too. Dirk, you, of course, remember making multiple appearances during his candidacy, the attempt for the county commission seats. Dirk, welcome back.
Yeah, good morning.
Good to
Thank
have
you for having us.
You have brought other people in uniform with you as well this morning.
Yeah, I have our commander and our master sergeant here.
This is from the Civil Air Patrol. This is Major Emma Black. Major, I'll pull that microphone closer to you so we can hear you say good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
And this is Master Sergeant Noelani Castellon.
Good morning.
Where do you folks go to school?
I attend Spring Mills High as a sophomore.
Okay.
I go to Faith Christian Academy as a junior.
Very nice. Okay. And Dirk, give us the basis of Civil Air Patrol, the history of it, and its availability to students in the school district here locally.
Thank you. As we approached the coming war, there were a group of pilots that decided to get together to form civil defense-like program and assist in that. And just on December 1st, 1941, Commerce, Navy, and the Army agreed to create the Civil Air Patrol. So just a handful of days before Pearl Harbor, we immediately became a civil defense. We had planes flying over the coast looking for German submarines, and on the Pacific side for Japanese, not so many of those. And there were thousands of sailors rescued because of CAP identifying ships that had been hit by torpedoes.
CAP being Civil Air Patrol.
CAP being Civil Air Patrol. And our pilots also started to scare away some of these, because when they would see a submarine, they would call in the Navy. They usually got away. So they decided to put little bombs on these little puddle jumpers. So, and they sunk 2 and damaged 10 German submarines. And it was reported in the German documents that one of the reasons they finally pulled off the coast was those damnable little yellow planes.
Mm-hmm.
We had such success with that. We did many things during that time. One of them was actually starting the cadet program. We actually were bringing high school students graduating, already soloing, so that they could go right into combat training. We had more pilots coming out of high school than the Navy and the Army Air Corps had planes. So that's when that started in there. There were 65 pilots killed in their service during that time, during the war. Jumping forward, we expanded into having 3 services: search and rescue, emergency services, cadet programs, and aerospace education in general. And those are our 3 main focuses. And jumping forward again to 2014, we finally had Congress honor the situation that the CAP had done during World War II, and they issued them the gold medal. And Guy Reynolds, who was the founder of this wing, this squadron in this wing, in 1943, was still around to collect that medal. You can look on the newspaper clippings and find Guy Reynolds. In fact, up until his death, he was still flying, not in the in the left seat. He was flying in the right seat with somebody, but he was still getting up in the air. The very next year, the Air Force finally decided, we've always been part of the Air Force, but they finally made us part of the overall, I went blank on that. We are now, if with the regulars, the reserves, the Guard, so we are considered, when we are on duty, we are airmen, and they honor our rank.
Dirk, you mentioned 65 pilots killed in World War II.
Yes.
Were these accidents while flying, or were they shot down, or a combination of the two, or what?
Of course, you're, as I said, little puddle jumpers, and you're over open water, and a storm can take you down. Most of them went down because of storms.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there was one or two that were towing target planes to train anti-aircraft, and they shot the wrong plane.
Oh, that's not the way to go.
No.
Yeah. In regards to the students who are with us, I remember in previous interviews with Civil Air Patrol years ago when we used to do some segments, one of the advertising points was there's no military obligation for the students who are in the Civil Air Patrol. Is that still accurate?
That is correct. We are Civil Air Patrol, and everything we have is contained within the United States and waters. Every state, including Puerto Rico, have squadrons that work emergency services and with cadets. And I'm going to give that to them in a second.
Mm-hmm.
We still do some submarine work. Anything the Air Force or Navy asks. Whenever a stealthy type ship is moving around a harbor, it has a tendency to get bumped. So when a nuclear sub takes off, they request a cap plane to follow them out to give them eyes in the sky.
Was the Civil Air Patrol involved in any of those Chinese balloons that were floating over the country a couple of years ago?
Possibly. I do not know.
Okay.
We do also try to fool our air defenses by sneaking out of the country and trying to fly back in and seeing if they get caught. We've also had oxymoron manned drones to train military in over civilian areas. They can't fly a drone. So what they did was took 72 Cessnas, put the drone controls on there, and then put a co-pilot in there. So there was actually a manned drone. We do many things that we get requested by the DOD. Search and rescue is our primary one.
And how long have you been with Civil Air Patrol there?
About 25 years.
25 years.
The one last thing, and I'm going to pass it over to the smarter people in the room. Sorry. The program for the cadets is more than just showing up at meetings. We have many opportunities, and there are like 41 special schools in the summer that they can attend. Anything from powered flight, you can actually get ground school and solo. These aren't actually free, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper other ways. But you have to get those, apply for those and get involved and accepted. There's even mountain safety rescue, all types of schools that are available to them. Many opportunities. There's even a space camp now. So it's a good program to give the cadets as much exposure as possible.
I imagine that's a heck of a commute for that, though, Dirk.
They're in every state. Colorado, Florida, Pennsylvania.
Not on the moon.
Not yet.
Major Emma Black, what do you do specifically with the Civil Air Patrol? What appeals to you?
So
You're kind of wrapped around your microphone with your headsets there, too. You may want to
So-
unknot yourself there for a moment. Here you go. Just pull it over the top.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so my biggest thing is emergency services. So we're a total part of the Air Force, right? A biggest thing is inland searches, search and rescue in all 50 states of America, including the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico. My biggest thing is emergency services, ranging from cadets of ages 12 to 21. We get to go out there, we get to search for missing people, planes. Just last year in 2023, we saved over 60 lives. It's a really big deal. The opportunity we have to put on this uniform and to assist other people to help them, that's an honor in of itself.
And Master Sergeant Noelani Castellon, how about yourself?
I'm more into the aerospace aspect of Civil Air Patrol. Going back to what Major Stansbury said about the Space Operations Academy, there's one going on in Florida. Those are all national cadet activities, which they give you like an opportunity to explore more careers in aerospace kind of section of CAP. I love aerospace. I'm going to college for something basically in aerospace education. And I think it's just amazing how many things you learn from going to activities that are aerospace based, because you just learn a lot of more interesting things about not only like aviation aspects, but like the space aspects as well, and a lot of fun things.
Matt Miller.
So is NASA in your future? When I hear you say aerospace
Yes.
and all of that, that's
Yes.
definitely a goal.
Yes.
What is it about aerospace, space, NASA that kind of captures your attention?
I'm not really sure. I just kind of always liked it because when I was in 5th grade, I remember reading a textbook section about like astronomy and all that space stuff and aerospace, and I just thought it always interested me. And I'm also very good at math. I love math. It's probably one of my favorite subjects, so I kind of goes in hand. I kind of like all that stuff.
So I get the sense maybe you're more on the technical side as
Yeah.
opposed to maybe the astronaut side, or would you like to go into space yourself or just help learn more? And
Yeah, learn
Okay.
more.
Emma, take us back to the search and rescue. You mentioned how many lives saved just a year ago. What was it like the first time you were involved in any sort of a search and rescue?
So far, I've only done exercises where
Okay.
we kind of have a simulation of what we would do, but I have heard from other people and their experiences, from cadets as young as 14 and 15, being able to, like the hurricane we just had recently in Florida, getting down there, providing food, providing water, helping people within floods, getting that opportunity to just go out there and assist other people. It's what I like to do. I like to be down on the ground. Noelani likes to do the technical stuff.
Yeah.
But I've never even considered, I never even thought that we would have the chance to do something like that, just civilians. Being able to help other people is honestly just an amazing experience all around.
And you say being down on the ground, you think of Civil Air Patrol, you think of aircraft, so search and rescue, you're flying over, but you're not just flying over, you've got folks on the ground as well.
Oh, 100%. We've got so many ground teams out there in every area, EMTs looking for missing persons, checking all surrounding areas. Here in West Virginia, we often do get crashes deep in the mountains, and it's so helpful to have us there because, I mean, getting stuck in the Appalachian Mountains is pretty difficult to get out of. And from what we've seen, from what we've done, planes will be out there for years, and then we'll come in, we'll find them, and we finally get closure for the family.
What is it that maybe sparked your interest? How did you find out about Civil Air Patrol to be involved?
So originally I wanted to be an astronaut. And then now looking at other interests, it's vastly different now that I want to be a JAG. But I got interested because of other people. A lot of what we do is we go out there, we recruit, we talk about our program, we tell other people, just like we're doing now.
I got interested because when I originally moved to my school, Faith Christian Academy, that was my 9th grade year, and they don't have a junior ROTC program there. So I was kind of looking forward to that, but I found Civil Air Patrol on a website, and I was going through the website. It really interested me of all the things that they do there, and I had also seen on a newspaper our Lieutenant Colonel Macias. She was getting promoted to squadron commander, and that also interested me because you know, you don't really see females commanding that much, so she really inspired me. She was probably one of my most inspirations for joining.
Do either of you have military in your family?
I do.
Yes.
Do you think that helped drew you to this college as
Absolutely,
well?
yes.
Yeah, you're overwhelmingly convinced with that answer, though. So tell me how the connection was formed. Emma, you go first.
What do you mean by that?
Between the military and your family and the influence to do this.
Definitely the benefits, 100%. They're not just about the part of emergency services and aerospace, but also what you can gain from it regarding leadership within Civil Air Patrol. That is one of our big things, is how can we train kids of the future to help future generations, to help people around us. Really, I looked at the benefits, and knowing that I was from a military family, I felt like I had a leg up in that aspect. And coming in there, I felt more confident, so I felt more like I would be more successful in the program.
And what was in your family? Who's in the military, Emma?
My uncle was a loadmaster for the Air Force for 25 years, and my father was in the Navy for about 2 years and a half.
And Noelani?
Mine was from my dad because he has been in the Marines, Army, and Air Force. And so he was also in Civil Air Patrol when he lived in California. So that also sparked my interest in Civil Air Patrol. He also kind of wanted me to do it because from him being in all this military things, it's kind of like military is his life. And so he really wanted me to go into the Air Force as well. Still considering it, maybe not. We don't know yet. But he was really the person who told me, you should do this because the benefits are worth it. And looking back at that now, it is completely worth it. I'm so glad that I joined.
Dirk, is there a story common among the young people that you meet in Civil Air Patrol?
I will say that those who stay, if you want to be a member as a cadet, you cannot come and join. You have to actually come to several meetings just to see if you want to do it, because it is a commitment. And so those who have committed to this has been some of the finest young men and women I've ever worked with. When I got in here, we were probably 70%, 75% male, but we have changed, and now we have our leadership and our strength has been in the addition of fine young women like these too. We've always had something. There was always encampments are probably some of the biggest exercises where they get to do things that they normally don't. They get to do some survival training. We have our 167th has been very, very good to us in helping out with that. And we usually go up to Camp Dawson up in Kingwood, and that reserve base up there has been very helpful to us as well. Back to the cadets, we base things on the Civil Air Patrol. It scaled down a little bit, but we still work with the pillars of integrity, our volunteers, excellence, and respect. And we train that. And the Army, Navy, Air Force, they all respect what we do. The Air Force will actually, if you want to just enlist after you get out, and you made it to lieutenant, you can go in as an E3. They believe you've already gotten that much training from us that
That's
you
impressive.
can go in there. Double digits of the Air Force Academy were capped. Usually 10, 12, 13% of them were previous cap. So we try to give them the skills that they need, not to just be in the military, though. To be in leadership is very key. And respect, integrity, and this volunteerism is very important to what we do.
Slide your mic over to Mr. Stubblefield there, the retired admiral in the room. We only have one of those, Bill, go right ahead.
I was very much enjoying this conversation, learning a great deal. So thanks, Rob, for interrupting my
piece?
my piece. Yeah. Very
Put you back to work here, Bill.
putting me back to work. Yeah. Impressive young ladies. I'm always intrigued about the reason somebody came in, and you folks mentioned you've had a military exposure from very young. There's something about wearing a uniform that I always felt very close to. I wore the uniform, and then I got out and went back to graduate school. I missed the uniform. That was the thing that I think drove me back more than the other. And Dirk mentioned it with the esprit de corps, the sense of pride. So many reasons that you identify with a uniform. So I applaud both of you. I'm struggling to ask a specific question, but I do. I think I can identify with you. You started much younger than I did, but I hope you continue to treasure the privilege of wearing a uniform. This is something our country offers that I think is one of the phenomenal advantages of being an American, wearing the uniform. And thanks, Dirk, for what you're doing. So.
Mr. Miller.
Yeah, and Bill, I can see that sense of pride in them, as they sit here and as they share their experiences with Civil Air Patrol. Take us into maybe the changes you've seen in your own lives from that first meeting that you went to, exploratory, is this really for me, to now where you are in leadership positions.
So I think for me, it was a really, really big change because when I first joined, I was not in a really good place. I had just moved schools, and I guess kind of like I was everywhere. I was a complete mess. I joined, and then, time went by. I'm now here. I would say that I have grown personally, like leadership-wise. I am just a completely different person from when I was about 3 years ago. It really changed me, like, everything. It was incredible. I just learned so much about like everything.
So I came in when I was 13 years old. I had moved from Massachusetts to West Virginia, so it was a really big move for me. I was very socially awkward. I was very nervous. I was very shy. Coming into Civil Air Patrol, I got out of my comfort zone, which was something very scary at first, but was probably the most impactful thing that happened at the time in changing how I interacted with others, how I was with my integrity and my leadership. Now coming into Civil Air Patrol, I feel a lot more confident than when I first started because of that leadership training, because of the support they give you, because you were able to step out of that comfort zone and see for yourself you have a lot more potential than you had originally thought.
Take us into those relationships that you develop, and you already mentioned Noelani of a young lady that inspired you. How have you developed those relationships and really kind of pushed one another as members of Civil Air Patrol?
You meet a lot of people in Civil Air Patrol that want you to get better. It's always senior members and also cadets that might be older than you that want you to get better, and they motivate you to get better. Then you try to help them out as well whenever you can. For me, it was Esther Macias. She really pushed me to be the best I could be because she was such an inspiration. Everything she did, she led by example. She was, like, for me, my ultimate role model. She was amazing, just everything. All my thanks to her.
I would actually say the same. Esther Macias, she was my first mentor within the program, and seeing a cadet who leads by example, being there right next to you, assisting you in your leadership and what you could change about yourself really helped me along the way in my journey and how I kind of grew through the program, as well as senior members, because we have a lot of former military. We have a lot of former people in those type of fields where they know how it is. They know how to mentor you and to get you to where you need to be.
This lady you're referring to, what is she doing now?
She is currently in college. I believe she wants to go into engineering with airplane engines. That is something that has just been amazing to see her do, and she's currently almost about to get her pilot's license.
Dirk, in your 25 years of being involved in CAP, are most of the cadets, do they follow through on the training and exposure they're getting now by college and subsequent work?
About 30 seconds, Dirk, by the way.
30 seconds. Those that progress through this, and usually when they reach, and you can't just get a rank or grade just by being there. You have to earn them. And most of those who get into the officer ranks follow through with where they want to go on that. I got to throw kudos to Colonel Barron, who had passed away. He insisted that both the squadron and the wing, that this be cadet oriented, and that they, particularly at encampment, they run the show. So you can check us out at wv020.cap.gov.
020.cap.gov.
Yep.
WV first started out. Dirk, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Emma and Noelani, best of luck to you in what you do next.
Thank you.
Good job today.
Thank you, ladies. Very impressive.